Hey everybody, welcome back to Disney Trio. Hey. I'm Ben.
Cassie.
And I'm Jennifer.
And in this video we're going to be doing a little bit more talk about the planning for our Disney trip coming up this fall. So that's Jen.
Alright. So first I want to talk about what things to pack. I'm sure most of you that are doing Disney trips, you already research that stuff, but just some of the stuff we do that we plan. Like comfy tennis shoes because we're walking all day in the parks. I know that some people like to wear flip-flops because it's cooler, to wear it because it gets so hot. And of course the water rides and you get all your tennis shoes all wet and everything.
I worry about losing the flip-flops on some of those rides.
Some of them. But I don't know, I thought maybe a fun compromise when you could bring a pair of flip-flops for the water rides or something. Because I know that we have a friend who is really adamant about wearing shoes everywhere, but he doesn't like to be wet, and it's really funny. So I don't know, maybe flip-flops could be an option for some of you, but they're not really that comfortable for walking around all day.
Yeah, walking around all day really hurts your feet. I do the faux Crocs. That's my that's my thing.
Your little boat-looking shoes.
They're Crocs, but they don't look like Crocs.
The weirdest shoes in the world.
No Crocs with socks. I don't do that.
And then light cotton t-shirts, something, airy. Don't want to wear too dark of colors or anything, but that's what I would think you should wear. Hats for when it gets hot. I know you have your car's visor that you just love. I have a visor from the Haunted Mansion or Jack Skellington that I just love.
Yep. And you might want to get these because they're just pretty.
And these are really fun, but it's, I don't know, doesn't really keep the sun out of your eyes, but it is really fun.
They're fun and decorative. But not really good for much else.
And sunglasses, of course, sunblock. You'll definitely need to apply that and reapply it probably 2 or 3 times a day just because you're out in the sun all day long. And so especially in this summertime and spring and not so much late fall or winter. Lip balm, if you get chapped lips like I do, although Ben has perfect lips, it seems like they never chap.
Super jealous. My lips, they never chap.
And then, of course, in the winter or when it gets dark and a little bit cooler, you might want to put on some layers like a light jacket or sweater. If it's raining, of course, you want to bring a poncho. I don't think you need to bring an umbrella. It's really not. Doesn't need to rain that much. Unless it's like the dead of winter or something.
Not to mention, remember, everything you bring, you're going to have to carry. So
exactly.
If it's an umbrella, if it's all this extra clothing, all this extra stuff, somebody's going to be carrying that. Now, usually that's Dad with a backpack.
He's so good about it. He takes care of his family.
But aside, if you don't have your own human pack mule, you might want to think about toning down the variety. Pick a look, go with it for the day, and then.
For me, I always bring a purse. I usually do.
Definitely bring a backpack, just to store some of these things in. It's not too bad. Or maybe hip packs. Some people call them fanny packs.
Yeah, it's what she bought.
You can put money, your hotel key, entrance pass, portable chargers, your phone, etc.
I already have one.
What you want to pack for the trip if you're coming from out of town is, clothes, obviously, toiletries. Ben has a special pillow that he cannot leave the house without. It's a special, what is it called, like a wheat pillow or something?
It's buckwheat. It's buckwheat pillow. It's like a beanbag pillow, but it's little chunks of wheat.
Yeah, and it's it conforms to your head, but it gets really hard, so if you're like a soft pillow person like me, I can't sleep on it. I can rest on it or do things with it because it's nice to prop you up, but not for sleeping.
Not for sleeping at all.
And of course,
it stays cold.
We like to drive down, and we drive, like I said, in the middle of the night, so it's, so Cass likes to sleep in the back when you bring a blanket.
Yeah, I'm always the one to bring the pillow and the blanket. She kind of doesn't.
No, I'll steal it if she's not using it.
Yeah, and it's so rude.
And then we got into pin trading last time we went to Disneyland.
That was fun.
We, just took some pins that we found online and bought a couple of new ones from the park, which is really fun. But then we found cast members to trade with, and it was a lot of fun.
I found my favorite
definitely
one.
Bring them.
My 3 favorites. I love them.
Yeah.
Although there does seem to be this weird dichotomy between people that are doing that just for fun and other people that are serious traders.
Super into it. We've watched some YouTube videos where people they spend thousands and thousands of dollars on these pins.
Well, and then when we went to trade with some people, they were like, "Oh, you've got nothing. That's all junk."
Yeah.
And we were like, "Oh, but these are my pins."
We like them because they're cute, not because they're I guess.
Or they're characters that we like, or they're
I love the wolf ones. I love Lady and the Tramp. I love the Pink Stitch.
Yeah. Don't know that we could save for another video.
I guess Angel.
We had the one character said that she had a very special one. And then she showed it to us, and it was something from Small World.
We didn't.
Oh
really
Didn't know what it was.
Anyway, so bring those if you want. Of course, earbuds for the car for when you're traveling, that sort of thing. Waiting in line if you're.
I bring headphones.
Headphones, that sort of thing. load up your books and music and podcasts on your phone or tablet, or if you like to read paper books, bring one, of course, for the trip. Those are the kind of things that we like to do. And I think that's it for those special things.
I'll bring a little tiny
backpack. Things to know before you go to the park. Definitely want to know what time of year you're going and what to plan for. Is it going to be rainy or is it going to be super hot? And you want to, plan accordingly. You need to know the park times when they open and close. I don't think it's the same year round. And I know DCA closes an hour before Disneyland. So
sometimes 2 hours usually.
Sometimes 2 hours, yeah. And then, of course, there could be special events like grad night or spooky Halloween night or something. So, like, we are going to be going late fall where they're going to have the Halloween's decorations up, and they're going to have a spooky night one night that we're there. And so I think we're going to do the opposite park. I think they're having in DCA, so we'll be in Disneyland that day. So anyway, and then make sure you know what time when the refurbishments are. I know last time we went, it was for Pixar in the summer when they opened up the Pixar pier. And World of Color wasn't up because they were working on maintenance for it. So it was kind of a bummer, but we got to plan around it and plan to do something else instead of watching that. So make sure you know the refurbishments.
And where did we check for that? Because we saw them, like, in advance. We saw what was going to be done.
There's a couple of websites that I go to, but usually Disneyland's pretty good about posting it. Some people seem to know ahead of time. They seem to be accurate, like touring plans. That's where I usually go. So check out touring plans if you want to see what that is. Know what kind of restaurants you want to go to. Everyone has their own flavor and own things they like to do. Like
I love Black Tap. It's gonna be beautiful.
I don't think we've been there yet, but we have seen the seen a few pictures and seen the menu, and it looks really good.
It looks so good.
Although I've seen mixed reviews, so we'll see.
Yeah.
Some of our classics, though, are, of course, we talked about in another video, the Blue Bayou and New Orleans
Cafe Orleans.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I don't know, some quick service good ones, though, like Hungry Bear. We've been there. They have some
Hungry
good
Bear's
burgers.
been solid, yeah. The Stagecoach one in Frontierland has, which, by the way, some people know this, but also has the corn dogs, the really great corn dogs from the red thing.
We like to go to the Red Wagon, but yeah.
You can get them at the Stagecoach, the side door,
Sure.
right past Horseshoe Review on the left-hand side. So, but yeah.
If you do plan to go to a restaurant that books a lot, like Blue Bayou, definitely get reservations as soon as you're able to, because that stuff books up fast. And if you have a larger party, it'll be even harder to get in. They do walk-ins, of course, but you're going to be waiting a while. Something I didn't mention with park open and closures, Toontown closes early also. And they open late, I think, too.
Yes.
They open at 10 and close at like 8 or something.
Because that's where all the fireworks get shot from, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, behind Mickey's house or something? Yep. Yeah, okay. So definitely want to hit that up, mid-morning or just before they close. I think it's probably a good time to do it. But
they usually close around dusk each day.
Okay.
So it's around 7 or 7:30.
I think I've usually seen 8, but maybe you're right.
It might be 8, yeah.
Okay, character breakfast. Those can cost a lot of money, but they also book up really fast. And I know that we did one year, we went for Cassie's 8th birthday, and we did like all of the characters. And it was such a memorable trip. We actually have this book behind us. I don't know if you can see it. It's blue. And it just kind of recorded all of the stuff we did. It was really, really fun. We actually did Hollywood Studios or Universal Studios as well, that trip.
Yeah.
Just went all out.
Did VIP on that and stayed at the Grand California. It was
so
like
good.
Once in a lifetime, never doing it.
Once in a lifetime, yeah, put it all on one trip.
Never do it.
And definitely not. Grand Californian wasn't worth the money.
If you're a very rich person, then you can do it.
Maybe, but yeah, it wasn't. We've had parts of it were not as not worth the money. Other parts of it were absolutely worth the money. Mm-hmm. Stuff like Blue Bayou, which is why we keep doing it. And some of those character breakfasts were great.
They were wonderful. Like Ariel's Grotto. I know they don't have
Grotto,
that anymore.
which isn't even a thing anymore, yeah.
But it was great.
The Storyteller breakfast. I actually thought that was one of the better breakfasts.
Good. I liked it.
Character-wise, it's pretty much just for Chip and Dale and some of those guys, but that was the better one. The Plaza Inn is the other one that a lot of people do.
Well,
for character
those are just some of the things that you need to plan for and make reservations for ahead of time. And then obviously special events, like I mentioned before, crowd levels. So you kind of want to get an idea. Like if you're going to go on a busy day, you definitely want to do rope drop. And if you have the option for an early entry, if you're staying more than 3 days, you get early entry. If you're staying in a resort park or resort hotel, you get, I think, at least one magic morning. I think you might get all 3 days or something. But it's really beneficial if you really want to take advantage of that extra hour, because you can get a lot done. I know that Adventureland is actually closed during that first part, and it doesn't actually open when the park opens. Because remember, we always try to go on Indiana Jones, and it seems to always be closed.
Magic Morning, I think it's closed. Yeah, but Rope Drop, I think it's open.
Really?
Yeah.
No, rope drop it is, because it's when the park opens.
But yeah, Magic Morning, sometimes they close off parts of the park. So, like, you'll be able to get into, like, Fantasyland and Tomorrowland, and then maybe Frontierland, so you can go to Haunted Mansion, Splash, and Thunder and that stuff. Okay. But they will block off some of that other stuff.
Yeah.
Just because, maybe they don't feel like the crowd needs the whole thing, or maybe they're not ready yet. Maybe some of that stuff takes longer. I'm not actually sure why. Adventureland doesn't
we'll ask.
We'll look into it. If you know, leave it in the comments.
Oh, absolutely.
Put it in the comments and tell us.
Also, know what your preferred rides are. Like, if you have small children who can't go on the big rides, but you have 2 adults, you can always do, like, rider swap. But you're going to probably spend a lot of your time in Fantasyland and Toontown, just because they'll be able to ride those things. And, of course, DCA... Yeah, Toontown's fun. DCA used to have Bugs Land, but I guess they're closing that down to make room for...
It's gone because Marvel Land is coming.
Yeah.
Like, when you look at the map now, it's just like a forest.
That's all it is now, and I'm so
It used to connect between Radiator Springs used to connect all the way to Hollywood Town, and now it doesn't. There's that big block off in the way, and that's where Marvel Land is going to go, and we're going to get the Spider-Man ride.
But they do have a couple of other kiddie rides in DCA, like Jesse's Carousel. We haven't been on that yet, because that wasn't open when we went last time.
Wasn't open last time, but they also have the jellyfish bloomer thing. Mm-hmm. The Zephyr, there's a little swing thing. There's a couple things that are great for kids.
Just know who your party is, what they like to do. I know that between the 3 of us, we don't always agree on what our favorite ride is, so we generally like all of them, but just make sure to have a top list for everyone in case you run into unexpected things, like someone's not feeling well, or you want to get food, or things like show times and parades.
One thing that you used to do when you planned the trips, and we don't do it as much anymore just because we get to go on almost everything, but you used to have like if you had to pick one ride, your absolute, or one thing, one show, one parade, whatever it is, if you had to pick one thing, what was it? And everybody in the family or the group that was traveling all got to pick that one thing, and we made sure we did that one thing for each person so that they could have their special Disney trip, they could have their special Disney time, and then we tried to fit in almost everything else that we could. And we've gotten pretty good to the point that we don't even have to think about that anymore.
We don't really have to do that anymore. Because we do rope drop, and I guarantee you'll get to do everything you want if you get there early. Even if you take a nap in the afternoon, I'm pretty sure you can, because we hit everything by noon.
Between like 1 and 5 is when it's at its busiest. And then it slows down a little bit. It used to slow down a lot. Like around 8 or 9, after the first fireworks show, it used to slow down a bunch. It doesn't slow down as much as it used to. But it still does... peter out.
With the Max Pass, it really makes things...
The Max Pass is huge.
Great. So
if you can afford it, definitely get the Max Pass.
Something else that you want to keep in mind, of course, is the budget. How much can you actually afford to do? And plan accordingly. Because I know that sometimes we'll have a certain budget and we'll have a little bit of a cushion. Because I know that every now and again, we're like, oh, I'd love to buy this one thing or get this one special treat or do a character breakfast. I think we did Goofy's Kitchen that we didn't plan for.
That was really fun.
One time, and it was expensive, but it was really nice to just kind of end our trip on.
And one of the better breakfasts of the whole trip.
It was really good.
That's probably one of the better breakfast buffets. That and Storyteller are probably the 2 best.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. It's the 2 breakfast buffets of the 2 best hotels. So
yeah,
those are the best.
True. And that's, there's something transportation to the park. So if you're staying far away from the park, you need to probably know if they offer free transport to the park. Most hotels do, like the Good Neighbor hotels do.
It's not free anymore, though. We've had to pay the last couple of times.
Yeah, I think it's like $15 a person if you're staying there for a few days or more.
Yeah.
Although we've taken Uber a couple times because we don't like to wait for everything, and it's actually faster because the buses usually stop at different hotels to pick people up, and so it takes an extra 5 or so minutes to get there.
Well, and $5 a person stacks up. I mean, that's $15 for each day of using the transport, whereas in Uber there and back was around $6 or $7.
Right, but if you're doing that for 3 days,
grand total, yeah,
it ends up being the same but better time wise, I think.
Yeah.
So, and you're, helping a guy out who's doing Uber, so trying to make a living that way.
You get dropped off a little bit further out, though. So
that's true.
It's like 100 feet. It's really not that much of a difference, but
and then
for those of us that are counting all of the steps, because of
yeah.
our poor toesies.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
It's maybe real sometimes. The last thing isn't as much fun, but if you're driving to the park and, staying in a hotel, you want to make sure that your car is taken care of, because for us, it's like an 8-hour trip. And so, of course, make sure your tires are good, your oil's changed. That's kind of a boring one, but definitely something you want to think about so you don't have any hiccups. That's me just over-planning, I think.
We splurged for a rental car last time, just to make sure.
Oh, yeah.
Because the cars that we had...
No, they couldn't fit everybody.
Oh, it's because we couldn't fit everybody.
Yeah.
So fitting everybody was a problem, and then a couple trips before that, we had 2 older cars, and we didn't feel super safe with either one of them. Mm-hmm. So we rented a car for that. But yeah, it's up to you. Whatever you feel, whatever makes you comfortable, whatever makes you work. And remember, it's about you having a fun time. Mm-hmm.
So do a lot of stressing or planning beforehand, and then my philosophy is just kind of let it go once you get there and just enjoy, be present for sure. But that's pretty much it for my planning tips. Let us know in the comments what you think of what I said and any ideas that you think are maybe better or work for you, and we'll be happy to take a look.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.